Welcome to our webinar, Discover the Emotion Code Energy Healing 101, presentation of Discover Healing. We're going to be discussing today what we believe your true nature really is, and we'll talk about the hidden imbalances that could be causing your issues. And hang on just one second here. Okay, we're going to share with you our 4-step energy healing method called the Emotion Code and help you to discover your own energy healing superpower. All right, fantastic. So this is me. I'm a retired holistic chiropractor. I am a medical intuitive, an expert in energy medicine, best-selling author of the Emotion Code, and creator of the Body Code system. We have, that's a typo actually, we have 6,000 plus practitioners now in 80 countries around the world that have discovered that they have this energy healing superpower that we're going to help you to discover today. And the Emotion Code is the easiest way to find out about your own energy healing superpower. And everybody has this. Everybody has this. It's really simple. So this is me. I was 15 years old when I took this picture, but a couple of years before this, I started developing these really serious, really severe pains in my back. I was diagnosed with kidney disease, and there's no medical treatment available for me. I was told I had about a 50-50 chance of survival. That's what my parents were told. I found that out later. But luckily, my parents didn't give up. My mother, especially, was very open to alternatives. They both were really, but my mother was very much a health nut back then when people who took vitamins were considered to be nuts. They found a couple of holistic doctors that they took me to. And they followed the same simple steps that we're going to talk about today that made the conditions right for my recovery. And I got better. It worked. And I decided at that age, that's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to go into the healing arts. So I've devoted my life to learning how to help the body in these natural ways. And I developed a habit of praying for help. So if you believe in a higher power, if prayer is something that you have done or something that you do, then you'll understand. You can get answers if you ask for help. And what I learned is that it's actually really, really simple. Okay, and I love simplicity. So first of all, some things I need to share with you. Your body and your mind are very, very intricately connected, and your subconscious mind is really, truly in control of your health. And your emotions are made of energy. Those emotions are created by your body, and that emotional energy can become trapped in the body and can contribute to physical and mental and emotional issues. And releasing those emotions, those trapped emotional energies, can empower you to feel better. So now it's your turn. You already have what it takes, and I want to help you discover your energy healing superpower. So first of all, I think you really deserve better, because our society does not really focus on prevention, at least here in the West. And of course, I'm sure we have many of you are in other countries of the world where it may not be quite this bad, but generally in the West, we wait until we're desperate, right? And then we require some kind of dramatic intervention to save our lives and so on. And most of the treatments that are given in the West uh, are pharmaceutical treatments, and most of those really just cover up the symptoms. They don't really fix the symptoms. They don't really heal the body. They just cover up those symptoms. Now, what we have found is that there are some reasons why people live with problems. Okay, people accept limitations. They believe that because they've got a problem, and maybe because mom had the same problem or grandma, that there's nothing that can be done about that. Sometimes people have a lack of information. They just don't have any idea that some alternative might be out there that might help them. Sometimes people ignore their GPS, or people just aren't communicating with their bodies very well. And sometimes people get secondary gain. In other words, sometimes people are relieved from certain responsibilities. For example, you got a migraine, and so or your back hurts or something, so you don't have to do the dishes, or you get special treatment and so on. Sometimes we learn very, very young that if we're sick in some way, we get treated better. And so that can be a tough one. Anyway, here is a little diagram. On the left side here, we have the circle of untruth, all the lies that exist in the world. And on the right side is the circle of truth. We could spend all day on this one, especially right now in the day and age that we're living in, right? But generally speaking, we all, I think, would like to live our lives in the circle on the right, in the circle of truth. But most of us at some point or another in our lives have at least one foot in this gray area in between. So raise your hand if you've ever had a situation in your life where you learned that something that you thought wasn't true actually turned out to be true. You had that happen? Yeah. So a lot of hands are going up. A lot of you have had that happen. And the same thing can happen. There can be things that you think are true um, or untrue or vice versa. That's what happens. Well, I've discovered some things to be true I want to share with you. These are, first of all, that you are a being of pure energy, just like everything else in this universe and everyone else. And also, your emotions are pure energy. And those emotional energies can become trapped, and that trapped energy can become an imbalance that can lead to trouble. So let's talk about energy. First of all, everything is made of energy. The chair you're sitting on, your desk, the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, everything ultimately is energy. Now, some energy we see as physical matter, like, for example, maybe your desk that you're sitting at, okay, or your house. Some energy, though, is invisible, like, for example, electricity or thought or emotion. So you are a being of pure energy. You have this invisible energy body or spirit that, depending on where you were in the ancient world, might have been called the ki or the chi or the prana. And then you have a physical body that is also energy, but it's in a form that you're able to see. Okay. So when you look in the mirror, you don't see a swirling cloud of energy. You actually see your face, but your face is energy. Your body is made of energy. Quantum physicists have basically said that really there is no matter as such. All matter is just energy that is held in vibration at a certain frequency so that we are actually able to see it. So one type of energy will affect another type of energy. Energies affect each other. And therefore, because we are made of energy, we are affected by other energies. In this case, we're going to be talking about emotional energies. So those emotions are energies, and they affect both body and spirit. And negative emotions, of course, are a problem for everybody. We don't like negative emotions, and they have a lot of amazing effects on us. Now, when something comes along, we create those emotions based on what we're experiencing in the now. So, for example, someone cuts you off at the light, and that's what you're experiencing in the now. And so that emotion or those emotions that come up are based on what's happening right now, but they're also based on the old trapped emotional energy that is stuck in the body from your past experiences. Okay. So there's this cycle that we go through as human beings. We create those emotions, those emotional energies, really. They're generated by the body. We experience them. We start to feel that emotion, that anger, that resentment, that grief, whatever it might be. And then normally, after feeling that emotion for a bit, uh, it fades away and disappears. And so this is the normal emotional cycle. And it often is kind of an automatic thing, and processing those emotions in a normal way, we feel the emotion and then we allow the emotion to dissipate and disappear and move on. And we move on with our life. But sometimes emotions can become trapped. And so sometimes what happens is we don't process emotions very well. They don't get processed fully. And we call these trapped emotions. Now, trapped emotions may cause problems for us. They imbalance the body's energy field, because when you develop a trapped emotion, it literally is a little ball of emotional energy. If you can imagine, a ball of anger, a ball of resentment, a ball of sadness, a ball of grief, that energy becomes trapped in the body. And that imbalances your energy field. And then that can become symptomatic. So you can develop symptoms from the emotional energy, or really the emotional baggage, you might call it, that is stuck in your body. So you start having symptoms of discomfort. Now, that can be physical discomfort, it could be mental or emotional discomfort, etc. And then if that's allowed to continue, then it may morph into even more serious problems. So in other words, trapped emotions can by themselves cause all kinds of symptoms. And this is something that Western medicine is not aware of, but they're becoming more and more aware of it all the time. So some of the things that trapped emotions might cause are abnormal cell growth, blood pressure issues, blood sugar imbalances, brain fog, chest discomfort, digestive issues, dizziness, ear issues, fatigue, head discomfort, heart problems, hormonal issues, immunity issues, joint discomfort, muscle discomfort, neck and back discomfort, nervous system issues, organ and gland malfunction, reproductive and sexual issues, respiratory and sinus issues, skin problems, sleep issues, vision problems, weight issues, and so on. And they can also lead to emotional and mental issues like addiction, anger, anxiousness, eating disorders, feeling empty, sad, or disconnected, learning disabilities, loneliness, low self-esteem, memory problems, mood swings, negativity, nightmares, panic issues, phobias, self-harm, self-sabotage, sexual issues, social fears, stress, feeling stuck in the past, and of course, they can feed trust issues. So let's take a look here. Now, trapped emotions can also hurt your heart, because you may have something called a heart wall. And a heart wall is where your subconscious mind has put up a wall around your heart to protect that core of you from being broken. It's a buffer against heartache, and it can cause trouble, make it more difficult for you to connect with other people, feel happy, make it harder for you to create abundance, and so on. So the more trapped emotions you have, the more you will tend to create. And that's the bad news, right? But the good news is they're pretty easy to get rid of. So here's an example. This boat is obviously not doing well. This boat is sinking, okay? And there are two people on this boat. Now, one of those people decides that, they're far from land. There's nothing they can do, and so they're going to accept that the boat is sinking and they're going to die, and so they give up. And the other person we'll call the swimmer. We have a swimmer and a drowner. The swimmer refuses to give up and looks for alternatives. Okay. So which one of these do you want to be? I'd like you to, if you want to be, hopefully none of you want to be a drowner, but if you want to be a swimmer, just type the word swimmer into that chat question area. Okay, Madhu wants to be a swimmer, and Kathy, and let's see who else. Okay, there we go. Susan wants to be a swimmer, and Afton and Misha, and Renee and Joseph. Okay, we got lots of you want to be swimmers, and that's great. I want you to be a swimmer too. Good. Swimmers don't give up. They start looking for alternatives, and really that's why you're here. I think you're really actually all swimmers, whether you realize it or not. So here's a great little story. It's from a woman named Rebecca. She said Cameron, age 4.5, got unintentionally locked in an indoor bathroom and was unable to get out. He was very frantic and panicked. The door had to be taken down by the hinges in order for him to get out. A month later, his mother said that he was experiencing intense distress that he had never had before. She allowed me to try the emotion code on him, and I found the trapped emotional energy of abandonment. I released that, and he has had no further distressing incidents. Cool, huh? Well, the emotion code may just help you to ease your emotional and physical discomfort, may help you to remove a potential underlying cause of illness, may help you to move out of the past and into the present, and help you to be able to process your feelings better. So there's a 4-part emotion code formula that we do. We call it discover, expose, release, and empower. So step 1 is to just realize that your body may be trying to tell you something, okay? I went through those lists of all those physical and mental and emotional symptoms that people can have. If you have one of those, then your body may be trying to tell you something, right? And so, is it possible that your body is trying to communicate to you that there's some emotional baggage that needs to be released? Very possible. Step 2 is to expose. That's to gain information, ask the right questions, and look for the information in your subconscious mind. I'll show you how we do this. Your subconscious mind may just hold the key. Now, all the information about your trapped emotions may be found in the subconscious mind. Studies show that it's about 99% or more of your intelligence. It's a massive, massive database of information. It knows about you and your needs. And finding trapped emotion is really pretty easy. We just use your body and the emotion code. We don't need any high-tech machinery. Now, we use muscle testing to get answers. That's our hotline to the subconscious mind. We can use muscle testing to get yes or no answers, and I'll show you how this works. It's a skill, though, that you can learn and practice, and you can use it for yourself and others. Here's another story. After learning about using the emotion code with animals, I decided to use it with my dog. He was super anxious and stressed out, particularly around cows in the neighboring field. He was frightened and usually barking madly at them from the fence line. It occurred to me to use the emotion code. It was so remarkable what happened. I cleared a number of trapped emotions, and within 30 minutes of the session, I went outside looking for him. I found him laying down right next to the fence, happily licking the face of a cow through the fence. Other people, that might sound like nothing, but to me, that was a miracle. Immediate and obvious proof of the power of the emotion code. While I've studied various types of energy healing modalities over the past decade, using muscle testing, doing belief and emotion clearing work, your system resonates very much. So methodical, clear, and easy. That's from Bernadette Logan, New Zealand. And New Zealand, by the way, has the best looking cows in the world. If there's any of you that are on from New Zealand, I've been there and I know. It's amazing. The cows all look like they have their own personal groomers there. So anyway, so step 3 is to release the trapped emotion. And we just use intention to do that, amplified by magnetic energy and placed in the acupuncture system. That intention flows into the entire body. And that probably sounds really complicated, but it's actually really, really simple. And that eliminates the trapped emotional energy. And that release step takes only seconds, and that emotion can then finally process. And once released, it does not return. None of us doing this work around the world have ever seen a trapped emotion return when it's released correctly. And then step 4 is the empowerment stage, and that's automatic, and your body has a natural ability to recover. And so now conditions are more right to do so. Now, let me tell you something. On this webinar today, you probably are going to see some really remarkable things happen. You're probably going to see some people that are going to feel better immediately. And so stay tuned here. Now, sometimes change is quick. Sometimes results take more time and more repetition. It just depends. But you can use the emotion code anytime you want for the rest of your life once you learn it, and it can really make a difference in your life. So how often should you do this? Well, most people will release or be able to release anywhere from 1 to 10 emotions per session. Most people will do anywhere from 1 to 5 sessions per week at first. And each session might take anywhere from 10 minutes to 45 minutes. And eventually you just do maintenance where you've released all your emotional baggage, and then you're just maintaining things, right? So here's a great story from Joe Iqbal in the UK. He said, I received a call from my friend who lives in Pakistan. He told me that there was a goat pregnant with 2 babies, and for the last 2 nights, she'd been standing because the legs of one of the babies went into her udder. She was suffering immensely. He was advised to slaughter the pregnant goat, but he asked me to try and help the goat using the emotion code. I released some trapped emotions, and she delivered 2 baby girls with ease 2 hours later. That might be a typo. 2 baby goats, I think. But anyway, kind of cool, right? Now, what's fun about this is Jawahid was in the UK, his friend was in Pakistan. And so thousands of miles away, you can do that? Yes, you can. And you're going to see that today. So we use a principle called proxy. And proxy just means that you're acting on someone else's behalf. For example, if you belong to a homeowners association and you don't want to go to the annual meeting, you can give your proxy to your neighbor. Your neighbor can go and then cast a vote on your behalf. It's kind of a similar sort of thing. It's a long distance connection because energy has no boundaries. There are no boundaries. And really anybody can learn how to do it. And I'll share with you how this works and kind of walk you through it here in a minute. So now it's demonstration time. Let's see how we use the emotion code in action. So if you want to volunteer, go ahead. I'm going to lower the hands for a minute. Go ahead and raise your hand on the console if you want to volunteer. All right. And while we're waiting for that, here's another one. My teenage son has occasional bouts of anxiousness and is diagnosed as having ADHD, that's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and on the autistic spectrum, okay, the autism spectrum. I asked him if we could do some emotion code one day when he was having severe anxiousness to see if that would help him. I started muscle testing and used a magnet to release imbalances. Just as I finished, he got up and said, matter of fact, "Bye, Mom, I'm all good now." I started laughing out loud due to relief and happiness that it worked. Now you can try it yourself if you want. It may help you to feel better prepared to care for yourself and your family and your pets. And so let's go ahead and let's do our demonstrations here. Let's see if we can talk to Melody first of all. And there you go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Yeah, fantastic. So let's see here, Melody. Let me just gather some information really quick. How old are you?
69.
69. Okay. And where are you in the world?
I'm in Canada, Alberta, Canada.
Oh, Alberta. Okay. Cool. And you were saying this is which knee is this? You got a bad knee, right?
Well, they both have arthritis in them, but my left knee is the worst.
Okay. Let's see. And it's about a 7, you said, out of 10.
It's not all that bad, but I cannot do stairs.
Okay. All right. Do you have any stairs in your house?
Just to get in, fortunately.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Are you sitting right now?
Yes, I am.
Why don't you stand up and just move around, walk around a little bit, and um, let's just get an accurate number on how bad your knee is at the moment.
At the moment, it's about 6, I would say.
About a 6. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Let me first of all, this work we believe really has come from up above. And during the years that I was in practice, if you believe in a higher power, I believe in a higher power. I needed help. And so I had all these people coming to me asking me to help them. And so I figured I need all the help I can get. And so I developed this habit of saying a short silent prayer to God for help with each person. And it was a totally private, totally personal habit that I had for all those years, roughly about 20 years that I was working with people in one form or another. Nobody ever knew that I was actually saying a prayer for them. But there were times when I would offer this silent prayer and the information that I needed would just flood in like an avalanche of data. So what we're going to do here is just take one moment and I'm going to ask for some help from up above for both of us right now. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go, Melody. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my camera. So what I'm going to be doing is using the ring and ring method of muscle testing. It looks like this. And I'll be getting a yes or a no answer. And what you'll see is that the rings, my hands here, will either stay strong for yes or they'll break apart for no. Okay.
Okay.
And so the first thing I want to know is are we connected? Are we connected energetically? In other words, can I act as proxy for you? And I get a yes answer. Okay. So that means we're connected. My body has set aside its own needs to act on your behalf. And so let's go ahead and do this. Here's our emotion code flow chart right here. This is right out of the book, basically. But our first question is there a trapped emotion that can be released now that's contributing to this left knee trouble? And the answer that we get here is yes. Okay. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to use the emotion code chart, which is over here on the left. And we're going to find the column that this particular emotion is in. So your subconscious mind is saying, yes, there's a trapped emotion that's part of the reason why my knee hurts. Okay. And we want to know, well, where is that emotion? Let's figure out the column first. Is it in column A? Yes. So we don't need to check column B because we know it's in column A. We've just gotten rid of half of the chart. There's 60 emotions in the chart, and we now know that this emotion is in column A. So is it in one of the odd rows in column A? Yes, it is. It's in an odd row in column A. Is it in row 1 in column A? Yes. So this emotion is in column A, row 1. So now we're going to go through these one at a time. Is the emotion abandonment? No. Is it betrayal? No. Is it forlorn? No. Is it lost? No. Is it love unreceived? No, it's not any of those, which means that this is actually what we would call an inherited trapped emotion. And I'm just going to abbreviate this. Whoops, that got in there. There we go. And it's inherited trapped emotion. And so what just happened? We were taken to column A and we were taken to row 1. But when we went through those emotions one at a time, is it abandonment or betrayal or forlorn or lost or love and received? The answer was no each time. When you're taken to a column in a row and you can't figure out what the answer is, that's how the subconscious mind takes us to inherited trapped emotions. Now, inherited trapped emotions, we only talk about them on a webinar like this if they happen to show up. And in this case, that's what this is. So you have an inherited emotion. Now, inherited trapped emotions are passed from a parent at the moment of conception. Okay, so they might have gotten it at their moment of conception from somebody earlier. So let's just see what we've got here. Is this an inherited trapped emotion? Yes. Okay. Science is actually sharing or finding out now how they're let me say that again. Scientists are finding out that animals do this and people do this as well. We pass emotional traumas down to our posterity in some way, and this is the way. This is how it works. So, what emotion is this? Is it inherited abandonment? No. Um, is it inherited betrayal? No. Is it inherited forlorn? Yes, it is an inherited emotion of forlorn. Now, forlorn is kind of feeling all alone and hopeless and desolate and sad and lonely, all kind of rolled into one. So, did you get this when you were conceived from your mother? No, you got this from your father. So I'm going to put a D there for dad. Did he get this from somebody earlier? Yes. See, your subconscious mind knows these answers. So your father got this from, did he get it from his father? No, he got it from his mother. So we'll do a D and an M there for dad and then mom. And did she get this, your grandmother, did she get this from somebody earlier? Yes. So how far does this go back? How many generations does this go back? And your subconscious mind knows this. Does it go back 10 generations? No. 9? No. 8? Yes. 8 generations. So 8 generations. So that's about 200 years. Okay. I'll just put a little 8G there, 8 generations total. So 200 years. So we're looking at about 1820. Okay, 200 years, give or take. Okay. So do we need to know anything else about this? Not really. However, Melody, do you have kids?
Yes, I do.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Okay. Did you pass this to any of your kids? All of your kids? Yeah. So you passed this to your kids. So we should be able to release this from everybody right now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a magnet. If you don't have a magnet, you know, people can use their hand to do this. I'm acting as proxy for you right now, so you don't have to actually do anything. I'm just going to take a magnet. It happens to have the chart on it, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to swipe 10 times over my governing meridian with an intention to release this trapped, inherited emotion that started a couple of hundred years ago, this emotion of feeling forlorn. Now, let's ask, did we release this? We did. Did it release from you? Yes. Did it clear from all your ancestors? Yes. Did it clear from your children as well? Yes. Quantum physics is kind of weird. The great physicist Richard Feynman said, if you don't think quantum physics is weird, he said, you don't understand quantum physics. And one of the things that they have found is that one energy can exist in an infinite number of places at the same time. And so what happens with something like this is some ancestor of yours 8 generations ago experienced an intense emotion of feeling forlorn. That energy got stuck in their body, and then they shared that down the line. And then you shared that with your kids as well. And you probably have siblings that have this and other people that have this. We just release that energy. And so what I'd like you to do now, it's like you to stand up and move around a little bit, okay? And let's just see, your left knee was at about a 6, and
Oh,
let's
it
just
feels so much better.
there you go.
It
See,
does. I have a question though. Would my children feel it in the same place I would? Would it be in their left knee as well?
not necessarily.
Okay.
I think that oftentimes that is the case. Inherited trapped emotions. Um, I think they do have a tendency to go to the same area most of the time, but not necessarily always. So we don't always know. And one of the things that we think happens sometimes is that, we inherit a trapped emotion at the moment of conception, oftentimes like this. But one of the things that I personally think goes on is that sometimes we don't experience any symptoms from that until we get to the same age that that ancestor was when that trapped emotion was developed. Although that's not always the case either. I think there's a lot of variation that goes on. But anyway, you never know. Have any of your kids had trouble with their left knee?
My daughter has trouble with one of her knees, but I'm not sure which one.
Okay, no worries. So how would you rate
Yeah,
the intensity now, 0 to 10? It was a 7 the first time we had you walk, or a 6 rather. How would you rate it now?
maybe one or two.
A 1 or a 2. Okay,
I'm
awesome.
aware that it's there, but it's not hurting all that badly.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that's how this works, see? So great. Thanks, Melody. We'll take another volunteer and see what we can find on the next person and let us know how that goes. Okay, hopefully I'll just keep improving.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're so welcome. So that's how this works, right? It's actually really, really simple. So let's see if we can take another volunteer. Here we go. Let's talk to Joseph here. Let's see here, Joseph. All right, and unmute you, and you might need to click your microphone. There you go. Can you hear me? Okay.
Hello. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. There you go. Good. All right. Let's see here, Joseph. So Joseph, how old are you right now?
46,
46. All right. And where are you in the world?
Philippines.
Philippines. All right. And you were saying that you've got a neck issue, right?
Yes,
All right. And the intensity you said was about a 7. And is that right now at this moment?
yes. If I move it like left, right, up, down,
Okay.
it's a
All right.
7.
It's about a 7. Okay. All right. So let's take a moment here. I'll ask for some help for us from up above, and then we'll take a look and see if we can help you. All right, let's see here. Joseph, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my camera. And can you see me okay?
Yes,
Okay, great. So let's first of all find out, can I act as proxy for you? And I get a yes answer. Great. So that means we're connected energetically. So let's ask some questions now. Let's find out. We'll go to our flow chart here and we'll ask, is there a trapped emotion that we can release now that's contributing to this problem with your neck? And the answer is yes. So is this emotion listed in column A? Yes, it is. Is it in one of the odd rows? Yes. Is it in row 1? No. Is it in row 3? No. Row 5? It's in row 5. So it's one of these: blaming, dread, fear, horror, or peeved. Is the emotion blaming? No. Is it dread? No. Is it fear? No. Is it horror? No. Is it peeved? No. So what just happened is happening again. This is actually an inherited trapped emotion as well.
okay.
So we'll just abbreviate inherited trapped emotion. And so let's see what emotion this is. Is this an inherited trapped emotion? Yes. So again, remember that typically when you're doing the emotion code, if you're taken to a column in a row and then you can't find out what the emotion is, it's usually because it's inherited, and the subconscious mind has to have you identify that fact before it will take you any further. So is this an inherited trapped emotion of blaming? No. Is it inherited dread? No. Is it inherited fear? It's inherited fear. Okay. Inherited fear. Did you get this from your father? Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So we'll put a D for dad. Did he get this from somebody earlier? Yes. From his father? No. From his mother. So it goes dad, mom. And did she get this from somebody earlier? Yes. How far back does this go from you? Does it go back 10 generations? No. 9 or 8 or 7. It goes back actually 7 generations. Okay. So that's about 175 years, give or take. All right. So about 1845 or so. Do you have any kids, Joseph?
Yes, one, a son.
Okay. And he's a biological child of yours?
Yes.
Okay. Because these inherited trapped emotions are only passed through the biological parents. Did you pass this emotion of fear to your son? You did. Okay. So let's ask, do we need to know anything else about this? We don't. So let's go ahead and release this one. So we use a magnet, or in this case, I'll just use my hand. Your hand is also magnetic. And we use the governing meridian, which travels from the tailbone over the top of the head. And we're just going to put some intention into that meridian to release this trapped emotion of fear from you and from everybody else that is holding it, including your son. And let's ask now, did we release that inherited trapped emotion of fear? We did. Okay, I'd like you to go ahead and stand up and move around a little bit, okay? And the reason I like to have people get up and move around a little bit is when we remove something like a trapped emotion, if they're having discomfort going on somewhere in their body, when you remove something like a trapped emotion, um, things are moving into new places. Bones are moving into new places, correct places. Muscles are balanced now that weren't balanced before. And so that it can just help to accelerate that process a little bit. So Joseph, come back and sit down, and then I'd like you to move your neck around again, and let's see how things are moving and how things are feeling on a 0 to 10 scale again. You were at a 7 when we started. Let's see how it is now, okay?
I'm moving it from left to right. It's
Okay,
like 5 to 6.
5 to 6, okay, all right,
And moving when I'm looking up, it's somehow still the same, like 7.
okay, all right.
But
So,
looking down, it's only like a 4 or 5.
okay, all right, so it's improved a little bit looking down. No worries. So sometimes we need to release more than one trapped emotion. Like I said earlier, most people can release between 1 to 10 trapped emotions in a session. Let's clear another trapped emotion, and let's just see if we can make a bigger dent here. Okay. So once again, we're asking your subconscious mind, is there a trapped emotion we can release now that's contributing to this neck discomfort? And the answer is yes. And so is the emotion in column A in our chart? No. So that means it's in column B. Is it in one of the odd rows in column B? That's a yes. Is it in row 1 in column B? No. Row 3 in column B? It's in row 3, column B. So it's one of these emotions here, okay? And let's see which one it is. Is it confusion? No. Is it defensiveness? No. Is it grief? Yes. So there's another emotion here that's trapped. We need to know, so where we are on the chart here is we're going to ask if we need to know more about this emotion, and the answer is yes. And so you're 46. Let's see when this occurred. Did this occur earlier than age 20? Yes. Earlier than 10? No. Between 10 to 15? No. Around 16, 17, 18, around age 18. Okay. Grief, age 18. Does that ring any kind of a bell at all? Now, this is accurate within a year, give or take. So you might have chronologically been 17 or maybe 19. It was sometime in that time frame. If you think back on that time of your life and what was going on in your life, does anything come to mind?
No. at that age.
Nothing shows. Okay, that's fine. Most of what happens to us in our lives, we don't remember. We kind of remember the highlights, right? Now, in a case like this where something happened and you don't remember, if it's important for your subconscious mind to bring this to your conscious awareness, it'll do that, but it might take your subconscious mind a day or two, okay?
Okay.
So do we need to know more about this? We don't, so let's go ahead and release this now. And a regular trapped emotion, we just do 3 swipes of a magnet over that governing meridian. This is the first regular trapped emotion that we've seen today. So did we release that grief? We did. Go ahead and stand up now, move around. Let's see how that feels.
Okay. Well, looking up, like lifting my head up, it's
Okay.
around 4.
Okay.
And looking to the left, it's like 3. And also to the right, looking
Okay.
down, it's somewhat the same.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. Well, good. So you can see that we've made a difference, right, in how it feels, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So there's probably more emotional energy that needs to be released. We'll hope that that continues to improve for you. Okay, Joseph, thank you for being a volunteer.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, fantastic here. Okay, so using the emotion code on yourself can help you to feel better prepared to take care of yourself, your family, and your pets, and so on. And one of the things that's available is you can enroll in what we call the Emotion Code Certification course and discover the power within you. The Emotion Code course is available at emotioncodecertification.com. I think let's just go there really quickly, show you what it looks like. So this is the web page, and enrollment is just $8.97. You have 6 months to complete the program. Okay. And you get a bonus guide today on resolving subconscious resistance to recovery. That's normally $197. Okay. And you can join us in this program and in helping the world to function better and feel better. There's lots and lots of healing that needs to take place in the world. So everyone can do the emotion code. There's no experience required. All the training is included. Sometimes people think, though, that they are not good enough. And really, this is how you get good at it. Initially, when we started this program, and again, we have over 6,000 people certified in this program now. Most people signed up for certification because they wanted to be able to legally charge people for money, or charge people money for doing the emotion code with them. And so, but now what we're seeing is that more and more and more people are going through the certification program just to get really good at it. And so that's fine. So the question sometimes comes in, can I still help people if I have problems, if I'm not perfect? And the answer is yes. And in fact, one of the interesting things about going through the certification program is that as you do this work, you actually end up getting healed yourself in most cases. So you can do what you love, make a living doing what you love. It can be used along with other modalities. And we do have an emotion code. We have an energy healing path for people who are interested in this type of work. You start with emotion code certification. You can learn the body code. You can get body code certified, and then go on to body code higher education levels and mastery, which we'll be introducing soon. How long does certification take? Well, between 40 to 60 hours total. That's about 2 hours a week over 6 months or less. The suggested timeline looks like this. You'll submit your application and your tuition fee. You'll fill out your bio and submit your photo. And the student advisor will be assigned to you, and that's on day 1. And then you'll start working with your e-learning videos. You'll be working with some quizzes, taking a final exam or test, or you can attend a live emotion code seminar that takes the place of those videos and quizzes. You just go straight to the final exam there. That's usually weeks 1 to 3. Then you start doing your practice sessions. Now you'll actually need, to become certified, you'll need to work with a total of 30 individuals. Now, 4 of those individuals need to be animals because we want you to have that experience. When you're 30% of the way done, you'll get feedback from your advisor, and you'll get feedback at 60% completion also if that's necessary. And that'll happen if you're taking all 6 months. You can do this between weeks 4 to 20, typically. Most people will finish this program in 2 to 3 months. Okay. But you can take all 6 months if you want to. Or the record, there's no limit. I mean, the record is 2 weeks. We had someone go through in 2 weeks. So when you finished your 30 individuals and working with them and clearing trapped emotions on them, you'll submit your student session portfolio. You'll submit a couple of letters of recommendation and agreement. And if you're taking all 6 months, that'll happen around week 20 probably. And then you'll get feedback at 100% completion, and then you get certified. And if you're taking all 6 months, that happens at the very last minute. Some of us are that way. So what types of sessions can you do then? Well, you can do live and in-person sessions if you want to. You can do telephone or Skype sessions. You can do email sessions. Why should you get certified? Well, it can help you to help yourself. You'll increase your emotional intelligence. You'll be able to help people and animals in a really unique, very powerful way. And you'll learn how to really make things happen. Why should you get certified? Well, it's really the ultimate flexibility. You can travel if you want to. You can make your own schedule. You can literally work from anywhere that you've got a Wi-Fi connection. When this COVID thing is over, I think a lot of our practitioners are going to really start traveling again. You'll gain a depth of knowledge. You'll become credentialed, a credentialed healer. It's easy and it's fun, and we guarantee that you will love it. Now, if you enroll today, you'll receive our guide to resolving subconscious resistance to recovery. And that can be used with the emotion code to address resistance and other difficult issues. So to learn more or enroll, visit emotioncodecertification.com. Okay. Now, your gift for attending is you're going to be able to learn to access vital information from the subconscious mind with muscle testing. And that's the link for that. And that's also going to be in the chat area. Okay, so they're pasting that in the chat area right now. discoverhealing.com/muscle-testing-video. All right. And for more information and support, you can go to discoverhealing.com, drbradleynelson.com, discoverhealing.com/contact, and there's our phone number, 385-999-4123. Okay. Now, let's go back to our volunteer. Well, let's talk to Susan. Susan, let's see, can you hear me okay? Susan?
Yes.
There you are. Hi.
Hi.
All right. Susan, how old are you right now?
65.
65. Okay. And where are you in the world?
Arizona.
Okay. And your issue, you said that you lost your father and a sister since this COVID thing began. And
Yes.
so you're feeling really sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of empty.
Sort of empty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So your dad died of old age. How old was your dad?
90.
He was 90. That's a good old age.
It
But
is.
then your sister, how did she die?
She committed suicide. She slit her wrists.
Okay, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Well,
Yeah.
okay. So right at this moment, how would you, if you were to put a number on the sadness that you're feeling, what number would you put on that?
Probably a 7, but it's
7.
like there's no. I'm usually a very emotional person, and there's not been much of any reaction, which I feel like, there's been no funerals, there's been nothing because of COVID. I have other sisters, we're all over the country, so we need to go to Connecticut for both of them for services when we can do that safely, but we haven't done it. So there's been no family get-togethers, there's been nothing.
Yeah, right. It's just kind of suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's difficult. Making it more difficult than it should be. Well, okay. So this has been going on, would you say, for a month or two, or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's take a moment here. I'll ask for some help for us, Milky Bob. All right, here we go. So let me turn on my camera. Let's first of all ask, can I act as proxy for you? I get a yes, okay. So let's take a look at our chart then, and let's ask, is there a trapped emotion that can be released now that's contributing to this emotion of sadness for you? Yes. And so is this emotion in column A? Yes. Is it in one of the odd rows? Yes. Is it in row 1? No. Row 3? It's in row 3. So is the emotion crying? No. Is it discouragement? No. Is it rejection? No. Sadness? It's actually the emotion of sadness. And so, okay. And do we need to know more about this? And the answer is no. Okay. So let's go ahead and release that. Let's see. Did we release that emotion of sadness? We did. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about this chart is there are obviously more emotions than the 60 emotions that are on the chart, but your subconscious mind is smart enough to know that if you're looking for an emotion that's not quite on the chart, it will find the emotion that is closest to it on the chart. And so we don't ever need to use bigger charts. Years ago, we used to use a chart that was about twice as big as this. It's not necessary. So we cleared that emotion of sadness. Let's ask, can we release another trapped emotion that has been contributing to this feeling for you? Yes. And what emotion is this? Is it in A? No. This next one is in column B. Is it in one of the odd rows? Yes. Is it in row 1? No. Row 3. This is in row 3. So is this confusion, defensiveness? Is it grief? So there's another emotion of grief. And do we need to know more about this? No. So these are probably recent, probably from about this, this whole situation. So 3 swipes of the magnet or the hand. We released that one. We did. Okay. So now let's see if we can do another one. Is there another trapped emotion that can be released now that's contributing to these feelings of sadness? Yes. Is this emotion in column A? No. It's in B. Is it in one of the odd rows? Yes. Is it in row 1? No. Row 3? No. Row 5. So is this emotion conflict? No. Creative insecurity? No. Is it terror? No. Unsupported? This is an emotion of unsupported. And I suppose that's just because you don't have the same kind of support you would have if you're able to get together with everybody and go through the grief process.
Right.
Is that what that's about? I get a yes. So let's release. Do we need to know any more about that one? No, let's release that one. Okay. All right. Did we clear that one? We did. So let's ask again, is there a trapped emotion that can be released now that's contributing to these feelings of sadness? Right now I'm getting a no. Now that might mean that there's more to do, but it might take a day or so for those to come up. Sometimes the body has to process, and that can take a day or so. What I'd like you to do, Susan, I'd like you to get up, move around a little bit. Get up and move around a little bit, and then let's just see how things are feeling. And sometimes in cases like this, it can take days for things to shift. But sometimes things can shift and you can feel that shift right away. So we'll just see. So if you tune into your own feelings at the moment, how would you rate the sadness at this point?
Probably a 4.
Probably a 4. Okay, so there was a noticeable shift that happened, and that's good. I mean, the emotion code doesn't remove memories. It doesn't erase memories or anything. What it does is it takes the electrical charge or the energetic charge out of things so that you can think about things that have happened, but it doesn't put you into a tailspin, kind of. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks, Susan. That was fun. Hopefully that'll really help you. I'm so sorry about your losses, and hopefully soon you'll be able to get together with the rest of your family and go through the grief process.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, you're so welcome. All right, fantastic. Well, we are out of time, so I want to thank all of you for being on our webinar today. Remember, if you're interested in certification, you can go to emotioncodecertification.com, and looks like this. Find out more about it and join us. There's a lot of healing that needs to take place in this world, and you can help us, especially now. There's just so many trapped emotions that need to be released. Lots of work to do, but it's all good, and it can be a wonderful, wonderful thing. You know, there's nothing more addictive, really, in a good way, than helping other people to function better and feel better and come out of their suffering. It's a beautiful thing. So God bless you all. Thank you for being on with us today, whatever time of day or night it may be for you. I hope that you have a great rest of it. Okay. So our staff will stay on here for a few more minutes to answer any other questions that you might have. And I will talk to you next time. Thanks. Take care.